Hello everyone, it is Jayden and welcome to The Alpha, the show where we talk about the hottest topics in pop culture and sports. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button on the video, and if you enjoy my commentary and myself truly as always, be sure to tap that subscribe button and to hit that notification bell to get notified when all my videos go live. I love you guys so much. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See ya. If you do not know, let's give a little quick backdrop on Rashee Rice. He was a guy who got in a car accident and inevitably got someone hurt, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. But he was hurt last year. I think he tore his MCL, ACL, one of the two. Pretty much had a pretty bad injury. And sat out all of last year. He got himself healthy and getting ready for this season. Now, he had this mistake in the offseason. And a lot of people was expecting this suspension to happen. Originally, a lot of people were thinking that Rashee Rice was going to play the first 2, 3, or 4 games, and then the suspension was going to come. We haven't really heard about the suspension in a while. So the news, and this all happened today. Adam Schefter came out with a report pretty much saying that the NFL is looking to go ahead and punish Rashee Rice the first 6 games of the season. It was like not confirmed yet, but it's to be determined. And just a couple of hours later, it's pretty much been confirmed that Rashee Rice is going to miss the first 6 games of the season for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. He will be eligible to return in Week 7 versus the Las Vegas Raiders. And this is from Ari Mirov. He is someone who is on all this stuff all the time, and he had this to say. On the Rashee Rice suspension, it was pretty simple. The NFL was pushing for 10 plus games. Rice camp wanted far fewer. They eventually landed on a middle ground with 6 games. And it begins before the season instead of hanging over the team. So if I'm thinking that is supposed to be the middle ground at 6 games, I'm possibly guessing that Rashee Rice's camp was shooting for like a 4-game suspension maybe. And the NFL was 1 and 10, so they pretty much met in the middle ground at the 6th spot. Cannot be horribly mad if you're Rashee Rice, and you cannot be horribly mad if you're a Chiefs fan because you did not want this lingering in the season. I know if I'm Rashee Rice and if I was really a Chiefs fan, I wouldn't have want Rashee Rice out there for 4 games and then all of a sudden, I don't know, we're just suspended for the next 6. That's just my personal opinion. I want Rashee Rice there and just having no worries, just ready to go, all the legal stuff and all of that out of the way. Because if I'm not mistaken, I'm not quite sure 100% if his legal process is done with. I don't know if they've dropped the charges. I know there's an article that was written up about this, and I saw it that Adam Schefter and them came out with. It was not too long ago. I think it was around the same time when all that stuff was going on with Quinshon Judkins and Isaiah Bond, maybe, that they released an article about that. I'm not 100% sure. But this is, when we knew the suspension was eventually coming because there was a whole lot of, craziness going on Twitter with the Chiefs. The Chiefs are, they have this thing around the team thinking that they're favored by the NFL. So a lot of people were claiming that the NFL was doing this on purpose, letting Rashee Rice play the first couple of games of the season because it's the hardest part of their schedule. So they were thinking that they were doing that on purpose. It's part of the Chiefs, cheating scandal or whatever, however you would like to call it. So, but that ultimately isn't the case. The NFL put their foot down on Rashee Rice, and he is going to be suspended. Now, let's just get to the Chiefs' schedule just overall, because I was sitting here like, I remember the claims and all that. So when I was writing my show, I was just sitting here like, okay, let's actually look at their first couple of games of the season and let's see if these people had an actual valid argument. And I really have to say, they do. They really do. So their first game of the season, they are against the Los Angeles Chargers at home. I think they're going to win that game. And this is where they got a couple of games that can be rough. Philadelphia is going to be a rough game for them. Baltimore and Detroit. So in those 6 games, you can argue they could go either 4-2 or 3-3. 3-3 at the worst. And at the best, I think they can go 5-1 because I really do not see a situation where they're beating Philadelphia. I think that is an automatic loss to go ahead and start off the first 2 weeks of the season. And then if they do what I think, that they can win those other 5 games still. And as well, I think another game they could possibly lose is Baltimore. So I think 2 losses, I think that's doable. A third loss would only come from the Los Angeles Chargers because we know the Los Angeles Chargers can be absolutely streaky when it comes to playing the Chiefs. It just depends on what Chargers team you're getting. Obviously, my stock on the Chargers this year is very high because I am a big Jim Harbaugh guy. I'm a big Jim Harbaugh guy. I believe in Jim Harbaugh. He's an exceptional football coach. So I think at worst, they could go 3-3. You can argue at worst they can be 4-2. It's just give or take. I know for sure they're losing to Philly. That is a definite for me, especially without Rashee Rice. With Rashee Rice, this will be a different argument. I think they still could lose to Baltimore as well. I want to say, though, they are playing Baltimore at Arrowhead. We know Arrowhead is a tough place to play. So maybe after seeing that, you can argue at the worst they're going to be 4-2. So those are the 6 games that they got without Rashee Rice. And then moving on, you got Los Angeles. So once they get Rashee Rice, the toughest games they're going to have is Washington, Buffalo, Denver. That is an absolute 3-game gauntlet in my opinion. So, hey, they may have gave the Chiefs a stimulus package. They might have, NFL fans, you might have wanted Rashee Rice to play the first couple of games of the week, and then they suspend him 6 games, so Rashee Rice wasn't going to be available for Washington, Buffalo, or Denver, because those are going to be tough games, because they're playing at home against Washington, but we know Washington can be streaky. It just depends on how they look this year. I don't know if they're going to be as good as last year, but if this is the same Washington Commanders team that showed up last year, it's still going to be a good game. They're playing at Buffalo. I think that's going to be a loss, and at Denver. You know, they had to beat Denver last year with a game, fluky blocking field goal, however you want to put it. So, there you go. Then moving on, they're going to beat Indianapolis. They're going to beat Dallas, Houston, maybe Los Angeles. So, even without Rashee Rice, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? They're going to be fine. People are blowing this out of proportion. Without Rashee Rice last year, did Rashee Rice play 2 games, I think? They still went to the Super Bowl. We're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs led by the great Patrick Mahomes, future Hall of Famer coach Andy Reid. Travis Kelce is still there. You got Hollywood Brown. You got Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Pacheco at running back. They're really talking about the offensive line, that tackle Josh Simmons they got. I think he played for Clemson, maybe. Or was it Alabama or Ohio State? I think it was Ohio State, Josh Simmons. They got him in the draft, and he's looking pretty doggone good. And everybody's like, uh-oh, they let the Chiefs get a good tackle. It's over with. So it's still the Kansas City Chiefs. They're still going to be good with or without Rashee Rice. So it's good that the NFL finally got this suspension over with. Finally got it out of everybody's head, so we can just go ahead and move on with it, let him serve his suspension, and get on with it. Hopefully they do the same for Quinshon Judkins and Isaiah Bond if they are going to eventually punish him. I am not quite 100% certain. So it's good to finally get this done. Hopefully Rashee Rice has a good season this year and he gets back healthy and gets back to that threat that we saw a couple of years ago, that rising star at the wide receiver position that we saw in Rashee Rice. So let me know all your comments down below. What do you think about the suspension? Do you think that the Chiefs got a stimulus package or what? I want to know all of your comments down below.